This whole thing where I like changed my name to remain more anonymous and more private, it's really a pain because I have to make sure that my name's not anywhere. I just like looked behind me to make sure it wasn't on my Spotify, and I actually changed it to Alexis Moreau. Who would have known? Like, I don't remember doing that, but good thing that I did. Hi. My name's Alexis Moreau. Welcome to my channel. Today, I really need to get a video done. Really, just the holidays are a really busy time for me, so I thought doing a little get ready with me / kind of story time would be good. I'm getting ready for work today, so I thought I would tell you guys some of my work stories, but we'll get into all that once we get started. I literally haven't done anything yet. There's no makeup on my face, I haven't washed my face, I haven't brushed my teeth, my hair's not brushed, nothing. I had breakfast. It's noon. So since I haven't done anything yet, I'm literally gonna take you through all of my things that I do to get ready. The first thing I do before getting ready is put my hair up. Oh my god. Okay, so welcome to my bathroom. Okay, so after I brush my teeth, I brush my tongue or scrape my tongue, which is like kind of gross, but also literally the best thing I ever started doing. So now that I'm done with that, I have to wash my face. I have more Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gentle Cleansing Lotion. This is the one I use before I put on my makeup, and this is the And this is the one I use to take off my makeup. First, I'm gonna moisturize my face before I put on my makeup. I do this every time after I wash my face, because again, I have dry skin. Also, you should probably just moisturize after you wash your face. Again, we're using Neutrogena Hydro Boost. This is just like a sample size of it because my mom gets it for free from work. She gets these like boxes of these. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm also gonna use some Burt's Bees on my lips because my lips are always dry. Okay, before I start this, I want to remind you guys that I am not a makeup artist. I have no idea what I'm doing, but like, don't expect this to be all right. Or maybe it's perfect. Maybe I do my makeup routine perfectly and I just don't know. That's definitely not the case, but let's get started. We're gonna start off with just like a BB cream. Dream BB Fresh by Maybelline New York. You know what I'm saying? It's in shade 110, which is the light medium sheer tint. First, we're gonna shake it. In my head, when I was filming this, I thought, you know, my skin isn't that bad today. Let's not use a full coverage foundation. Let's use a BB cream and, you know, be healthy towards my skin. And as I'm watching this video back, my skin looks terrible because I'm so zoomed in. So, like, maybe use a full coverage foundation if you're going to be using a camera super close to your face. Maybe that I should have thought of that because it's kind of common sense, but you know, I feel like most people would put this on with like a makeup sponge or a foundation brush maybe, but I'm gonna put it on with my hands because it's not foundation. If it were foundation, especially a full coverage one, I would put it on with one of those things because it's very noticeable if you don't. I am going to like buff it out with a beauty sponge though after I put on my concealer so there's not like finger marks in it. Then we're gonna be using Age Rewind concealer from also Maybelline. Let's talk about work. So if you did not know, I am 17 years old. So that means I had to go through the horror, except it wasn't really that horrifying, of getting my first job last year. I got my first job last year. I'm gonna use a Morphe beauty sponge for this. I don't know if that really matters, but that's what we're using. Actually, when I was 15, I walked around downtown in my town like on 2 separate occasions job hunting. I went to various different stores and applied for various different jobs and like literally asked if they like needed any extra help. But no one did, so I basically just stuck to like babysitting and cleaning houses every once in a while. I'm gonna do my eyebrows next. I'm using this little bad guy. It's just a brow pencil. So yeah, I turned 16 or whatever. I didn't work throughout the whole summer, but at the end of the summer, one of my friends came to me and said, "Hey, you still looking for a job?" And I was like, "Heck yeah, man, I'm looking for a job." And she was like, "Well, my cousin owns this restaurant downtown and he's looking for hostesses." And I was like, "Oh, sick." I didn't even have to like really interview or anything. Basically, I just went for this like training thing, but it wasn't even really training. I just went there with her and 2 other girls who were starting. And he was basically like, okay, hi. He didn't really explain much. It was just like, this is how to do it. Give me your name, social security number, birthday, all those things. And then you're good. Like, I didn't have to interview, I didn't have to apply, I didn't have to do any of that stuff, which was so nice. And then I started. I didn't have anyone to shadow or anything, so I just didn't really know what I was doing, but I figured it out. I still work there, by the way. I started out as a hostess, like I said. Now I'm a food runner. I didn't start food running all the time until like a few months ago. So the first work story that comes to mind literally happened within the first few weeks of me working there. So when I originally started working there, he had a hostess for every night of the week. I only worked on Thursdays and Fridays though. But we would all cover shifts for each other. Basically, someone needed me to cover a Tuesday night. And I never worked Tuesday night because I just started working there. And at the time, we don't have these anymore, but we had like league nights. So we had like a pool table and a dartboard, right? So on Thursday, we would have like a pool league come in and they would like compete or whatever. And then on Tuesday, it was dart night. And I did not know about the dart league at the time. So that's like kind of a key component of this story. So it wasn't busy because the dart people weren't coming in yet. And this woman and like what I would assume would be her son came in. She asked me if they could play pool. And so they go in there and immediately she like comes back out and she was like very over dramatically shivering. She was like holding her arms and was like shaking, but you could tell it was like kind of fake. And she was like, it's really cold in there. Can you turn off the AC? And I was like, I guess. I didn't know how because I was new. And so I went to one of the bartenders that was working. I was like, can we turn off the AC in the other room because that lady's cold? And she like looked at me funny. She was like, I guess so. Just because it was like a weird request. I'm going to be contouring, except I don't actually have any contours makeup. So we're going to be using bronzer to contour. Hope that's fine with you guys. I'm going to be using 2 different brushes. I'm going to be using the Morphe E4 brush and the Morphe E62 brush for my nose. Oh, we're using a Tarte bronzer in the shade Park Ave Princess. So the bartender, she goes in, she turns off the AC or whatever, or she sat down at the bar, and then she like talked to him for a second, and then the lady walked out. And I'm assuming what had happened there is the bartender informed her that she couldn't actually play pool because the dart league was coming in and the dartboard is in the same room, and it's like really unsafe to have people playing pool and darts at the same time in that close of a vicinity. But I don't actually know if that's what she told her or not, because as the story continues, that doesn't really make sense. I don't know what happened. But they left anyway. Then I figured out that dart league was a thing, and I was like, oh, well, didn't know. Whatever, sorry lady. So then these regulars come in, and they just started playing pool. Like, they put their money in and just started to play. I wasn't even paying attention when they came in. I was like cleaning a table. I think the bartender went over and was basically like, you guys have to be quick because we have a dart league coming in. So this lady starts to walk back by the restaurant and she sees that they're playing. So she comes in. I still hadn't really even noticed they were in there playing pool because I wasn't over there. I was somewhere else. Like, I was cleaning a table at the other side of the restaurant. So I didn't even know at this point. So when this lady comes back in, she just like looked pissed. I was like, oh, I should definitely walk over there because she's like waiting by the podium, but also I can tell she's gonna yell at me, so like, what should I do? So there was actually one guy there at that point who was there to play darts, but he showed up like an hour or 2 early just to drink. And when she came in, she started yelling at him first and was like, how could you take the pool table? And he was like, I'm not with them. So that's why I actually ended up like rushing over there. I headed over there and was like, hi, or like whatever. I don't really remember exactly what I said to her. This was like a year ago, so I don't fully remember. She started yelling at me and was like, I can't believe we came in here first and you let them play on the pool table when you know we were waiting for it. And I was like, actually I didn't know you guys left. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. I'm sorry, I didn't know you guys were coming back. I thought you guys had left and decided not to play or whatever, because she never told me when she walked out that they were coming back. She just left. Basically, like, if you want to play pool and you want to like wait for the table, you like set a stack of quarters down. That way people know you or someone's waiting for it. But I don't know why she wouldn't have just played. You know what I'm saying? It was so weird. She's like yelling at me or whatever, and then she said like the most baffling thing to me. Me, a 16-year-old, she said this to. She says, as a manager, you should not let this happen. And I was like, I am 16. The only thing I am qualified to do is to walk you to a table. and like hand you a menu. I was like, I am not a manager, ma'am. And she like kept fighting with me and I didn't really know what to do. She wouldn't stop. I was like, I don't know what to do, lady. Like, first of all, if you really wanted to play, frickin' you should have played when you were in here and there was no one playing. You left, lady. And if you were leaving and we're gonna come back and play, you should have left a stack of frickin' quarters or let someone know. It is not my job to police the pool table and tell people they cannot play because someone else wants to play even though they are not in the restaurant currently. Like, I couldn't even see the pool table from where I stood as a hostess. Not my job. She said other things to me too, but I can't remember. One other thing she said, this was like when she was in there the first time wanting to play pool. She was like, where do I order a drink? Do I like put in my drink order with you? I was like standing at my podium. And I was like, there's a bar 2 feet behind me. What do you think, lady? And then when she came back in and was like yelling at me for letting someone take the pool table, she was telling me that she was like a regular. She was like, I come here so often and I spend so much money here and you think I could play the pool table? Clearly you don't come here that often if you don't know to order a drink at the bar. Like, have you ever been to a restaurant? This restaurant works the same as every other restaurant in the world. Clearly you're not a regular. Also, no one knew who she was, other than that she seemed crazy, so I was like, clearly you're not a regular, but okay. Anyway, eventually one of the bartenders was literally just like, you need to leave because this is ridiculous. She literally, and then she like left. But yeah, I think that's the only time I've ever actually had someone yell at me. There was one other time recently that someone came in to get takeout, or they had called in, placed an order, and then came in to pick it up. So I like went back and like put everything in a bag. I literally brought him out like 2 or 3 bags. And he was like, this is it? And I was like, yeah, that's all that was in there. But totally feel free to like check. And he was there with his daughter. His daughter was mortified. Oh my god. Before I continue, I'm using Morphe Eyelid Primer in translucent. I don't know if there's more than one color, but this one's translucent. We're just using my fingers because anytime I do it with a brush, like I don't know if I'm just not using the right brushes, but every single brush I've tried has not put it on as well as my finger does. So we're just gonna... He pulls like literally every box out, sets it on the bar, and is like opening everything, and he was like, is this in there? Or is that in there? Or is this what this is? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, why are there only 3 tenders in here? Because he ordered like 2 tenders, 2 different types of tenders. There were only 3 in each box, which I was a little bit confused about, but I just like assumed he ordered 2 half orders. This dude was pissed. My boss was like, we thought you ordered 2 half orders of tenders. No, that's not what I wanted. Also, this isn't in there. It was like a sauce. This ravioli doesn't have enough ravioli sauce on it. And I was like, your ravioli doesn't have enough ravioli sauce on it? I was like, that's the amount we put on every single ravioli dish. Like, hello? And he was so mad. And he was like, do you think this food is enough for my teenage son? And he had freaking like 3 bags full of stuff, and each bag had like 3 boxes, like 3 full meals in them. And I was like, oh my god, how much food does your teenage son need? Alright, so I'm gonna do my eyeshadow now, but I don't know. Generally, I use the Too Faced Natural Matte Palette just because I know what I'm doing. We're gonna start off with the shade Heaven, just like all over my eye. That's this one, if it's gonna focus. We're gonna be using these 3 shades on the top. We're gonna start with Heaven, and then we're gonna use Cashmere Bunny and then Sexpresso. We're gonna put Heaven all over literally everything. This is just like an all over shadow brush from MUA Professional Makeup Academy. Next we're going in with Cashmere Bunny, which is that like middle, like light brown color. This is a defined crease brush. Oh yeah, and I'm just gonna like put this on my crease and then like blend it up. It's a transition shade. You get it, you know. Now we're gonna go in with Sexpresso, which is like a darker brown. We're gonna use the Morphe M456 brush. So, it was a Friday afternoon. It was maybe around 1 p.m. I don't go to regular school, so I was working. And I used to work every Friday afternoon from like noon to 3, and then I would also work every Friday from 4 to 8 or 5 to 9, either one. So the girl that I normally work with wasn't there. She was on a cruise, so my boss was actually filling in for her. And it was just me and him, and then like the guys in the kitchen. This guy comes in with his friend, so they were like chatting or whatever, and then they decided that they wanted to order food. And I think they had originally just come in to drink. I don't actually think they were planning on eating, and if they were, they weren't planning on eating what they ended up eating. So we have this giant burger. I'll see if I can find a picture. Based around this burger, we have like an eating competition. If you can eat it under the current quickest time that someone's eaten it, you get it for free. One of them said to the other, you should try this. He was like, okay, and he ordered it. I'm gonna Google what's on this burger for you. Chicken tenders, bacon, mozzarella sticks, lettuce, tomato, Thousand Island on 2 grilled cheese sandwiches. So it's not a regular bun, it's grilled cheese sandwiches. So he gets it. Before we continue on with the story, I feel just the burning desire to talk about this eyelid for a second. Yeah, my eyeshadow isn't super blended. I have a really hard time blending eyeshadow on that eye specifically for some unknown reason, and I must have just not noticed that it looked terrible. But I put on mascara in a second, and you can't really even tell. So, don't come for me. Thanks. And the way he was eating it, he had like beer, but he also like ordered a glass of water and was like dipping chunks of the burger and fries and all this stuff in the water to like water it down, and then would eat it. It was just like soggy and gross. It was disgusting. Also very entertaining, especially during a slow shift. He finishes the burger, and at some point during him eating the burger, he stood up. So he was like, they were at the bar and they were sitting at the bar, and he stood up out of his chair and then like leaned against the bar to eat. He finishes the burger and he's standing there talking like completely fine. He beat the current time and he was standing there chatting, and at first I was behind the bar, but since he had finished I was like, okay, I should probably like start heading back to the podium. But since they were chatting and I had nothing else to do, I was kind of like taking my time, and I just had like a feeling. And he was like, yeah, I feel like fine or whatever. And then since he was leaning on the bar standing up, he stood straight up and just like immediately he was like, and he booked it to the door. I've never seen anyone throw up by this challenge before or after this occasion. So he runs toward the door because the door is closer than the bathrooms. He like projectile vomits as he's pushing open the door, but since it's Friday afternoon, we're getting deliveries, so the 2 guys delivering beer are coming in the door at the same time he's running out to projectile vomit. So he vomits all over the door, kind of on the floor inside, on the sidewalk outside, and also on one of the beer guys. He was like, we're gonna come back. And they got in their truck and they drove off. He was so mad. And I was like, I'm quitting my job before I clean up this man's puke. But yeah, I think that's the wildest story I have from there, is because he threw up on the beer guy. And then everyone in the kitchen was like, I can't believe you saw him throw up. And I was like, I know. I am gonna be using Roller Lash. Benefit? Yeah. My benefit. So the last story I have is probably the most recent story. It happened a few weeks ago. I was working a Friday, which is a shift I used to work all the time, but I don't work anymore. Someone else works it, but she asked me to cover, but it was so busy because there were so many people coming in anyway. And then on top of that, this party of like 13 came in, and there was this one waitress. We will leave her unnamed. Her name was, haha, Aussie Tom reference. She just like was not on her game that night. We'll just say that. Basically, she just kept getting orders wrong and letting people order stuff that we were out of. Stuff like that. And the kitchen's pissed. The head chef, he's like friends with my mom and Steve. He like cats our cats. He's like literally probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life ever. He's like getting more and more angry, and he kept on saying, like I said, he's like the nicest guy, and I totally got where he was coming from because I was getting angry too. He literally would be like, oh my god, this is so annoying, and be like, not you. But eventually I like went out, I brought a French dip out to a table, and the chick was like, I didn't want this on that. And I was like, okay, because it's not her fault, right? I was like, all right. So I like walked back into the kitchen, and I literally was like, you are going to be so mad, because he was just getting so fed up. And I like looked at him and he was like, what? And I was like, she didn't want this on that. And he like looked at the ticket and it didn't say that, and he literally took the plate from me with the French dip on it and spiked it at the ground, and the food went everywhere and the glass went everywhere. I'm telling you though, this guy is like the nicest guy. He just had a Gordon Ramsay moment. Literally as soon as he did it, he looked at me and was like, that wasn't about you. He literally turned around right after. He was like, I've never done that before. I was like, I'm so glad I was here to witness that. I was so glad I was there to like see you get mad because I didn't know you did that. Like I didn't know you got mad. We're gonna be using the Morphe setting spray, which like, this is the best setting spray because it actually comes out as like a continuous mist and not like spritz.
Absolutely a life-changing, earth-shattering product that I'm devastated if I do not have it. Like, fuck. It's to the point where every time I go to Morphe now, I just want to buy this in like bulk. Like, I know I will never ever find a better setting spray.
Literally true. And I always put so much of it, I shouldn't have opened my mouth yet. It feels so good and it smells so good and it's so refreshing. Like I'll put it on when I don't have makeup on sometimes. I'm like, time for my setting spray. Next, we're gonna be doing my highlight. I've been using one of the shades from the James Charles Morphe palette. I think it's Face. Just look at this, it's so beautiful. I haven't been able to do much with it yet. I did like a look for Thanksgiving and it came out great. And that's all I've done. I've been using Face, which is this shade right here. I thought it was so funny that he like apologized after though, like immediately. It wasn't even just like, hey, I'm sorry I spiked that plate in front of you, like a few minutes later. It was literally immediately he was like, sorry, that wasn't about you. And I was like, I know. I was like, don't worry, I want to spike a plate too. Those are my crazy work stories because it's just, my life is crazy. So after I do my makeup, I'll generally straighten my hair. For work, I don't always straighten my hair, and then put it up in a ponytail. I'm definitely gonna put it up in a ponytail, but I don't know if I'm gonna straighten it because it's really not all that crazy wavy. Let's see what it looks like. Whoop. Those are my work stories, and that's how I get ready for work. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me. If you guys did enjoy this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button. And also, turn on that little notification bell to be notified when I post. But I post every Monday, kind of. And also don't forget to follow me on all my social media networks. They're linked in the description box below. And I will see you guys next week, maybe. Bye!
Please don't break my heart, crush my lungs, tear me apart, tear me apart. Break my heart, crush my lungs, tear me apart, tear me apart.